Alright guys, I'm going to give you a quick rundown on how I'm soldering this brass. Uh, I originally was using like a 60-40 solder, which is what most modelists or modeling people use. But it's really good for like static models and things, but I figured I'd want some extra strength. So I wanted to find something that was really going to bond the two pieces together more as one. And so I came across this stuff I got off of Amazon. I'll put some pictures down too, and it'll give some more information. It's like 38 or 39% silver, but it's brass colored, so it's got a really nice brass shine to it. And once you get a good adhesion, it really looks well once you polish it up. So anyway, it takes a higher melting point than most solders do, like your regular 60-40 solder that I was using in the beginning. Um, it doesn't really hold that well, and it's because it's just a little bit weaker. Um, it doesn't take much to make it melt. Like this stuff here, I don't think that you'd be able to actually melt it with an iron. I think you'd have to use a torch. Um, so anyway, moving on. The flux that I'm using is just a flux that I'm familiar with. It's a Stay-Silv white brazing flux. I've been using this stuff for years and silver soldering steel parts together to make roll cages and tube chassis for rock crawlers, for 10 scalers and such. Uh, you know, things like this. I used to make tube chassis like this. So anyway, moving on. I originally started out with using this combination of the soldering and flux, trying to heat it up with these two torches, and I had no luck. Well, I take that back. The very first night, I had good luck with this one, the blue one. But it was a very small piece. I clipped off a very small piece of solder. I don't know if it was just a lucky night, but it seemed like it adhered very well. I was very pleased with the results of it. But uh, further testing and trying other stuff out, it just seemed that I wasn't getting the heat that I needed. So I went out. I found this guy. It's a really good torch. Burns-O-Matic. It's got the lock on it. It's got a pedestal. You can set it down while you're working. Um, Works really well. It's got 2.5 times the flame of the blue torch blue back there. Um, so I really like that. It just gives you enough heat. With this type of a solder, with it being high content silver, you do need a little bit more heat. So heat is going to be your main thing, and cleanliness. Make sure your parts are. I just use here. I use this brand. It's everywhere. You can buy it at hardware stores and stuff. But what I'll do is I'll take those and then I sand it down with like a 400 grit paper. Get it nice and shiny, and then I'll follow that up with steel wool, and then I'll clean the part with either just water and a rag, basic jar of water juice, and just a basic rag. Anyway, after that, get your setup ready. Put it together the way that you want to. Like right now, we're just going to do a T-join. This is going to be between two 2mm pieces of brass. They are tubes, so they have a 1mm hole through the center of them. I like to fish mouth, is what they call that little fish mouth right there, just to be able to make that join be a little bit better. So when the solder wants to flow, it wants to flow around the contour of the part rather than just sink into and go into the tube. So just makes your joint a little bit better. So I'll get started here. I'll show you. Just all I do is I get my torch going, And I like to heat up the part. I don't have anything on it, no flux or anything right now. So I like to heat it up. I go ahead and turn my torch to where it's always on so I can handle it in different ways. I just like to heat the part up a little bit, try to change the color just minimal. You don't have to get it red hot or anything. It's just the ceramic that's getting hot right now. So we see the ceramics absorbing some stuff, so we can tell the metal's getting hot. I'll come in with the flux, the stay silv. And I like to just jam this down anywhere I want to have contact with my solder bit. So something I like to do with the solder is I will take the wire and I'll hammer it flat. Something this does is gives you a wider surface and a thinner surface, and it'll absorb that heat a little bit quicker. And the helpful thing with that is it makes it want to spread better. So I just kind of set myself up with a clipping like that, and you could see I've kind of hammered it flat. And then what I do is I'll dip that in the flux that I'm using. So I've got something good and sticky. So I kind of coat it up, you see. And I'll just stick that right on top of the joint that I'm wanting to make. Make sure I've got it where I want it. I don't know if you guys can see here. I've kind of got this hovering over my jaw, my vise. Reason being, I don't want anything else to absorb the heat that I'm trying to give it. So there, we're set up for some more heat right now. I'm gonna go ahead and get my torch going, and we're just gonna heat this up. Hopefully we'll see this bubble up and just it'll suck that piece of solder right down. But the thing is, you want to heat your part more than you want to heat the solder and flux. You want the part to be hot enough to absorb that solder and flux. If you don't, you'll come up with what they call, I'm not really sure what the actual term is, but your join doesn't become true. It looks good, but it's not actually as hot as it should have been. You can see right there my solder piece fell off a little bit, which is okay if you can get in there quick enough to put it back up and get it back into a good resting spot. Now that's the thing with this solder, it takes a little bit more heat, like I said. So you see right there, it just kind of flew around the edges there and just got sucked right down into the gaps. Back off a little bit here. So it does tarnish the brass a little bit, which is no problem. All that can be buffed out. I'm gonna give it a second here, and I'll put it in some water. The ceramic board helps. You can really utilize the pegs. Sometimes your flux will get stuck down in the holes, and that's okay. Your piece with this solder will act as one. I've tried to rip these apart, and I've actually broken the tube before I've broken the solder. Let me try to just... You can kind of see the join there. I'll give a pause real quick. I'll clean this up and show you what we look like. Alright, so this is just after a quick, I just dunked this in a mason jar of water, just wiped it off. So right now I'm gonna just give it a quick once over with some paper, and you'll see how it cleans up really well. This is just a 400 grit emery paper. It's nothing special. Just polishing at this point, really. I'm not gonna get too crazy, but I'll set that down and we'll move in on it here. I'm gonna pull this out. And there you have it. Sorry. It's not bulky. It's nice and thin, and it's strong. I'll show you here. This is just a test piece for you guys. So look at that. It doesn't break the joint. It's strong. There you go. Enjoy.